30 interesting facts about the FA Cup. The Football Association Challenge Cup, or FA Cup, is one of the oldest and most prestigious football competitions in the world. It has a rich history that dates back to the 19th century. The FA Cup is a yearly knockout football competition in local English men's football organised and named after the Football Association, the FA. Here are some interesting facts about the FA Cup that you may not have known before. 1. The FA Cup was first held in the 1871–72 season, making it the oldest football competition in the world. 2. The competition is open to all teams from the top 10 levels of English football, meaning that non-league teams can also compete. 3. The FA Cup trophy is made of solid gold and weighs 6.3 kilograms. 4. The first team to win the FA Cup was Wanderers FC, who won it 5 times in a row between 1872 and 1876. 5. The current holders of the FA Cup are Chelsea FC, who won it in the 2020-21 season. 6. The most successful team in the history of the FA Cup is Arsenal FC, who have won it 14 times. 7. The largest victory in an FA Cup final was in 1903, when Bury FC beat Derby County 6–0. 8. The smallest victory in an FA Cup final was in 1887, when Aston Villa beat West Bromwich Albion 2–0. 9. The first goal in an FA Cup final was scored by Morton Betts of Wanderers FC in the 1872 final. 10. The first team from outside of England to enter the FA Cup was Derry Celtic, who competed in the 1888–89 season. 11. The first non-English team to win the FA Cup was Cardiff City, who won it in 1927. 12. The highest-scoring FA Cup final was in 1953, when Blackpool beat Bolton Wanderers 4–3. 13. The FA Cup final is traditionally held at Wembley Stadium, which has a capacity of 90,000. 14. The first FA Cup final held at Wembley Stadium was in 1923, and it was dubbed the White Horse Final, due to a mounted police officer's efforts to control the large crowd. 15. The FA Cup final has been held at other stadiums in the past, including the Crystal Palace, Old Trafford, and Millennium Stadium. 16. The FA Cup is broadcast in over 150 countries around the world. 17. The prize money for winning the FA Cup is £1.8 million, while the runners-up receive £900,000. 18. The first team to win the FA Cup in the 21st century was Liverpool FC, who won it in 2001. 19. The FA Cup has a qualifying round, where teams from lower leagues compete to earn a place in the competition proper. 20. The record for the most goals scored in an FA Cup final is held jointly by Jimmy Logan and Jackie Milburn, who both scored 3 goals in the 1951 final. 21. The record for the most appearances in an FA Cup final is held by Ashley Cole, who has played in 8 finals. 22. The first FA Cup final to be broadcast on live television was in 1937, when BBC Radio broadcast the final between Sunderland and Preston North End. 23. The FA Cup has been won by teams from outside the top flight of English football, including Wigan Athletic in 2013. 24. The FA Cup has been won by teams from outside England, including Cardiff City and Glasgow Rangers. 25. The largest attendance for an FA Cup final was in 1923, when 126,047 fans attended the White Horse Final at Wembley Stadium. 26. The first penalty shootout in an FA Cup final was in 2005, when Arsenal beat Manchester United 5–4 on penalties after a goalless draw. 27. The first penalty shootout in an FA Cup final was in 2005, when Arsenal beat Manchester United 5–4 on penalties after a goalless draw. 28. The fastest goal scored in an FA Cup final was in 2019, when Manchester City's Gabriel Jesus scored after just 56 seconds in their 6–0 victory over Watford. 29. The FA Cup has seen some famous upsets over the years, including when Wrexham of the 5th tier beat Arsenal in the 3rd round in 1992. 30. The FA Cup has inspired many memorable moments in English football history, such as the "Giant Killers" and the "Cup Sets", that have seen lower league teams upset their higher league opponents. In conclusion, the FA Cup is steeped in history and has provided football fans with some of the most memorable moments in the sport's history. Whether it's the giant killing of a lower league team or the drama of a penalty shootout, the FA Cup continues to captivate audiences around the world.